Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing the truth or dare tag. I will leave the original tag down below. So the first truth or dare pairing, I will be doing truth, which is what is one of your bookish unpopular opinions? And this is that the hate to love trope is often done wrong. I think that usually it's used as a marketing skill or a marketing theme because a lot of people like the trope, but I don't ever really think that the hate part is strong enough. Same with enemies. I never really feel like the reason behind the hate is strong enough to justify the feelings. Usually it's kind of just like this very toothless, I'm just acting this way because I like you and I don't want to like you situation. And I'm looking for something a little bit stronger than that, because then HEA makes more sense and like you kind of want it a little bit more. I think that's my unpopular opinion. It might not be that unpopular. I think a lot of people think that way. And then for the next pairing, I am actually going to be doing both the truth and the dare. So the truth is, who are your favorite booktubers? And the dare is rearrange one of your shelves and leave it for the remainder of the video. So I'm going to rearrange that shelf. So let me set you up. Okay, so I have a couple of favorites that people that I watch all the time. If I am looking for like high quality, innovative, but relaxing, and someone that I know is going to give me very clear and concise reviews, I probably would watch Kayla from Books and Lala. She always has very varied reading preferences. She doesn't tend to read from the same genres over and over again, and she manages to read books that I haven't heard of, because I don't generally read more of the like new releases or pay attention to new releases. If I'm looking for a very relaxing channel, someone that I can watch and sort of get a new perspective from, but also just kind of enjoy the experience, I would probably watch Ashley from Bookish Realm. She reads so many different genres and she reads just a lot, but she always has very insightful and different points of view. Comes at it from a kind of a different viewpoint than I think we are used to. She comes at it from not necessarily an educator, but a librarian's point of view, someone who is really in with the majority of the readers, someone who sees a lot of the things that the book community doesn't necessarily see. She's interacting with people that probably have never or will never interact with the book community in the way that we do. Now, if I'm looking for particular recommendations, I have like specific people that I go to. So if I'm looking for more like horror, dark, like romances specifically, I will go to Tamika from Library of Tomes. She's a great place to go to for recommendations. I go to Izzy from Happy for Now for manga mostly. I find that Izzy has like the most wide variety, and she just always makes everything sound so appealing, even if it might not be something that I personally would check out. She still makes it sound like I'm missing out if I don't look at it myself. I would recommend Intentionally Bookish if you are looking for some good cozy mystery recommendations. She is a very laid back and calm personality, and she kind of just has this energy about her that makes the watching experience so interesting, and everything that she talks about, you can tell that she really enjoys. She really loves cozy mysteries, and even though I don't particularly read a whole lot of them, she has gotten me interested in the genre just by the way that she talks about it, because you can tell, again, that she really loves it. I actually hate how I'm organizing this, and it will be changed immediately. Bound and bookmarked. If you are looking for some great varied reading vlogs. I really like her reading vlogs. She does a monthly 24-hour readathon that she does with a bunch of other people, and those vlogs are always pretty interesting. And then of course Jessin from Jessin Reads Romance, she reads a lot of varied genres, varied subgenres, and her vlogs are always great. She has a very calming personality, but the way that she talks about the stories and the books that she's reading is just, you'll want to read everything that she talks about. Like, she's great. Bonus recommendations would be Naima's Reads, This Past Romance. I find that Naima, and there are people that have just like this most chaotic energy. So if you are looking for someone that, especially This Past Romance, the most just like all over the place, funny people to watch if you are just looking for like that kind of chaotic personality. So those are just some of the channels that I love watching, and I would recommend all of them to you. So the next question is, the next truth or dare pairing is, what are your guilty pleasure reads? Which I don't have guilty pleasure reads. If you like reading something, you should never be ashamed of reading it. Reading is supposed to be a hobby, so if it's something that you're interested in and it's something you want to read, then you shouldn't feel any shame about that. So I don't have a guilty pleasure. And then the dare is see how many books you can hold at one time. And so I'm going to answer the next truth or dare pairing while I am trying to do this. And I'm going to hold my Cassandra Clare books while I'm doing this because they're the heaviest books that I have. And then the next truth is, if you had to delete one of your Bookish social medias, what would you pick? I actually only have Instagram. I used to have Twitter, but I just found it to be a place that I didn't really enjoy going. I found it to be very draining and very frustrating to be a part of. I guess I shouldn't be stacking them on my leg. This is basically as much as I can carry. I found that it was a great place, a great sounding board for lots of different opinions, but it also lacked a lot of nuance in some of the conversations. That became frustrating, where people didn't take things into account, and I think this is about all I can hold. They didn't take into account some of the nuances, like accessibility and things like that. They don't take into account the varying levels of opinions that you can have on situations. That people would take the barest amount of evidence, negating the fact that evidence can be doctored, and basically tell people that if they read whatever the canceled book of the day was, that they would also be held accountable or canceled. And I don't love that. I just found that being in that space was not productive. So all I have left is Instagram, and I also have Goodreads, of course. And then the next one, I will do both the truth and the dare. So what is the weirdest thing you've used as a bookmark? And then I will also balance a book on my head for 30 seconds. Let's just use this. So the weirdest thing I've used as a bookmark was probably a chip bag. I think I will use pretty much anything as a bookmark, just like excluding like greasy things and dirty things. But I don't have, oh, okay, well, I lasted 11 seconds. I don't have any particulars about dog earring or anything like that, so that's not really something that I think about really. And then the next truth is, if you had to burn one book, what would it be? That is a tough question, because even books that I avidly hate, I think are pretty important. I'm gonna say I would burn R.I.P. by Charity B. One of the worst books I've ever read in my entire life. If you want to experience like 30 minutes of straight pain, I would recommend you watch my reading vlog for it. Go in with extreme caution. It's not a good time. But that's probably the one I would burn. I'm very hesitant to say that I would burn a book, because I feel like, you know, everybody has their varying opinions and varying things that they like. So I might not necessarily like or agree with something that a book does, but it has its place, if that makes sense. Next up, I will do the truth and the dare. Truth: grab a book from your shelf, open it to a random page, find a question on that page, and answer it honestly. So I grabbed Crooked Kingdom. I will open to here. And the first question is, what was his name? And his name was Bruce Wayne. And the next part is, write yourself a note and stick it in a book you haven't read yet. This can be whatever you want: inspirational, positive, funny, etc. Now when you read that book, you'll find the note. Okay, so the closest thing I could find was paper towel, so we will use this. So, beloved, I am going to write. So I wrote, this is for a reason, learn to do better. Beloved is about a woman who escaped from slavery, so we will put that there. All right, so next up is, what's one bookish thing that scares you? One bookish thing that scares me, I think something that scares me. I think the biggest scary thing for me, bookish wise, is reading a book from an author that I loved, or hearing something about an author that I love that makes me not want to read anything from them or support them ever again. That's tough for me. I think everyone has experienced that. There are certain authors that I find a level of comfort in, and the idea of that not being a comfort anymore is tough. So I think that's always my biggest fear with reading. And of course, it's always up to your comfort level. Do you separate the art from the artist? I think it's always a very personal thing. Despite what some people might say, I think it's a personal decision and there is no right or wrong answer. For me, it's like a scale. Like, how bad is it? Is it something that I can forgive, or is it something that I can't forgive? And if I can't forgive it, then I will choose not to support you again. So that's always my biggest fear. And then next, truth: pick one of your bookshelf decorations and tell us the story or meaning behind it. Okay, we will go with this. So this is a Cthulhu magic box. If you are not familiar, Magic the Gathering is a card game, and you can use this to keep your cards in it, like that. I use it to keep my TBR deck in here, but I actually got this for my partner. It has his name on it, but he used to use this. It unfortunately doesn't fit things very well, so he doesn't use it anymore. But when we were like pre-COVID and all that, we would go to our local comic book store and we would participate in magic events, like tournaments and things like that. So I have still found use for this. This is probably my favorite decoration on the shelf, just because I think it's really cool. So that is what that is. And then lastly, I will do both the truth and the dare. So what are two characters from different books that you would ship? I would pair Sam with the Diviners with Esta from The Last Magicians. So Sam in The Diviners is kind of this petty thief who has sort of a mysterious backstory. He has a thing with Evie in this, but I think that his kind of double-sided nature and his easygoing nature would pair very well with Esta. To be honest, I don't like Esta's love interest in The Last Magician, but I think that they kind of have the same background, the same sort of mind, and I think that they would work super well together. All right, and then the last dare is close your eyes, grab a random book from your shelf, and try to guess what book is based on how it feels. Look at this shelf. We'll go with this book. This is oh, that's actually I'll go this one. I'm gonna say this is A Song Below Water. No. I was only a couple books off. This is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This is a fantastic flipping murder mystery book series. Really, the whole thing is great. But it's could not be more the opposite of the book that I guessed. All right, so that is the end of this tag. I would love to hear your thoughts down below on any of these questions, or if you do this tag yourself, make sure you comment that down below as well. I would love to check them out. But other than that, I will catch you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching.